Hey everybody, it's Josie. Welcome back to Cedar Creek Homestead. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. I hope you're staying cool. It's 106 here today, the actual temperature, 111 degrees plus for the heat index. It's supposed to be that way today and tomorrow. And then we have a little glimmer of hope for the next 4 or 5 days. The temperatures are supposed to drop in the 80s and 90s, and I'll take that. 80s and 90s sound really good. And chances of rain 30%, 40%, which doesn't sound like a whole lot, but if you're in a drought situation like we are, we'll take every drop we can get. It's beginning to be a little bit more serious here. We did get a little bit of rain last Thursday evening, but we're so short on rain that we need a lot more. Our ponds and our creeks, everything is dry. And the pastures are dry, and that's really beginning to affect a lot of people in our area, in this rural area. The next little town over, Weber's Falls, has asked their people not to water their lawns, their flower beds, or their gardens. And that's pretty serious when you turn the water off to the garden, when you got 104, 106, 107 degree weather. It's serious when they say you can no longer water things. And so, you know, we're praying for that rain. In the cattle industry, what I happen to be involved in, we took another load of, we took 3 or 4 cows and a load of calves off, and just to get those calves off of their mamas in this heat, and the pressure on the pastures, so that we could pastures could try to rebound if we get some of this rain. And we weren't the only ones. The calf pens were full. I know that every cattle sale is different, but the one that we took the load to Saturday, the calf pens were full, so there was a lot of people selling young calves. And the farmers were out to the roads with their trucks and trailers bringing in loads of cattle to sell. And it's not because they're getting great prices for them. It's because they're in desperate and dire straits. And that affects the cattle industry. That affects the prices. And it's not going to be good on the retail side of it either. It's not just because the prices are down at the sale barn, because there's so many of us selling cattle, does not mean that it's going to be cheaper for you to go buy beef at the grocery store. In fact, I think that you'll probably find that beef is just as high, if not higher, than it was just a week or two ago. I don't see the price going down anytime soon. So things are really, really starting to play out. And people are beginning to hurt even more. So I thought about that, and I thought, what are some things that we can do? Because we try to encourage you, our channel and others, to look well to the ways of your household. Keep preparing. Keep buying these things. Some people are putting out videos, buy these 10 things, or buy these 5 things, buy these things. And I even brought you a video on things that you could get at the farm stores to add to your preparations. And there's all kinds of things that you can add to your stores at the prices that they are right now versus what you're going to have to pay in the future. And things that you just might have to in the future do without it. Either it not being there, or it's just so expensive that you can't afford it. So I challenge you to really, really look at everything that you have. Get that binder out, or make you a binder. Write down all the things from A to Z that you can think that you and your household needs, from inside the house to outside of the house. You might not be able to get everything, but if you have an account of all of the things that you think that your family might possibly need, then that gives you a visual, something to work towards. If you know that your family really loves spaghetti and you have it once a week and you use X amount of jars of spaghetti sauce and X amount of packages of noodles, then you know how much of that you need if you were to set a goal of having a year's supply of food, or 2 years supply of food, or however much it is. Then you kind of know what it is that your family needs. There are some things that we can do. Number one, if you live in an area that you can grow a garden, that would be my suggestion. Now, you're a little late for your summer garden, but you can grow a fall garden, and you can get in things that you could eat fresh, lettuce and radishes. You could grow cucumbers. You still even have time to do tomatoes and stuff like that. Just start now and get that fall garden going. Also, go to your farmers markets and look at your grocery stores at the produces that they have. Go and sometimes you can get really good deals if you'll buy something that's not that perfect specimen of whatever fruit or vegetable it is that you're looking towards. Don't be afraid if you have to, take the eye out of a potato, or you have to cut a blemish off of an apple. They will still taste good. You put them in a jar and you put them up the proper way. When your family is hungry and they're looking forward to supper, you'll have something good to put on the table. So look for those items. Now, my family, when I was growing up, they were gleaners, meaning that when someone had something that they didn't want any longer, that they had got all the green beans they wanted, or the big field, there was a big green bean field around our house, and when they went in and picked, there was a lot left over, and so they let you go in and pick, and they did, and us kids snapped green beans, seemed like forever. And I still to this day love snapping green beans. That's one of my favorite garden chores, and I don't know why. But anyway, we were gleaners. We picked apples and plums and peaches, and we went and gleaned the blueberry fields, and we would have blackberry patches and just all kinds of things. And if you'll keep your ears open, you'll hear people say, "Hey, I got this." And even at church sometimes people will bring produce. And I usually, if it's something that I'm growing myself, I usually hold back until everybody gets what they want. And if it's left there and people aren't going to use it, I'll take it and I'll put it up, because it's going to waste if I don't. Now, some people have themselves believing that they'll just rely on their food pantries. And some people are able to get items from their food pantries right now. But I will tell you, there are a lot more people that are depending on food pantries today than there was just a short time ago. A lot more people are in need. A lot more people are food insecure. And the food pantries are running into trouble. I listened to a report that said that the donations are down. There are more people that are in need. And so the food pantries are having to give less, or in some instances aren't able to provide some of the things that people are in need of. And so that's something else. I'm not saying it's wrong to use the food pantries. That's what they're there for. But don't totally rely on the food pantries. Make sure that you are putting things up now so that you won't find yourself in a soup line later. If worse comes to worse, there's going to be a lot of people that are looking for help. And you don't want to have to be that way. You want to be a help. Another thing you can do besides stocking your pantry with the things that you know that your family is going to enjoy, that your family likes, begin to introduce new things now. Things that are food stretchers. Maybe your family's not used to eating beans, but I would say start introducing them to those beans. It's not going to do you any good to store a whole bunch of beans if none of y'all will eat them. So I would, maybe once a week, twice a month, make beans for supper and let everybody in the family get used to having those beans. Or oatmeal for breakfast instead of cold cereal. Have oatmeal or malto-meal or rice or grits or something maybe that they're not necessarily accustomed to. Now, something else that I would encourage you guys to do, those of you that plan to grow gardens, is to go ahead and begin thinking about your seeds. Now, I know that this is the last of July, and we probably won't be we will be starting our seeds, our fall gardens, but our seeds for next year until January. But I still think that it would be a wise thing to go ahead and begin to look at your seeds and evaluate what you need, take stock of it, and then go ahead and order your seeds and have them ready for next year. Now also would be a time to begin thinking about your plans for next year. What are some things that you can do? Is there projects that need to be done, or is there some things that you need to add to your backyard? Victory gardens are a big thing. They were a big thing back in World War II and after World War II. Victory gardens, and the government encouraged people to have chickens and rabbits. Now, I know a lot of neighborhoods are telling people that they can't have chickens. In fact, in my hometown of Pea Ridge, my sister-in-law was discouraged from having chickens at her house. I don't necessarily think it was so much the chickens as it was the roosters, but still, back in the day, the government encouraged chickens and rabbits because it doesn't cost much to feed them, it doesn't take much to house them, and they're relatively easy to take care of and not really all that messy. It could be that you need to go back to some of those things. So I would say let's begin to evaluate and really take stock of all that we have. Now, I've told you all along, keep a binder and go back through it occasionally. Keep stock of all of the stuff that you have, and keep track of it. Do I need more of this? Do I need less of this? We didn't use this, so get rid of it, but bring this stuff in. All of that is important things to do with everything that you have. You have to consider what kind of animals that you have, whether they're pets or they're livestock. You need to consider, how you're going to take care of them. Do they have food? You can't just turn off the faucet for your animals and say, well, sorry, y'all have to make it on your own. If you have the responsibility of your animals, then you must find a way to take care of them as well. And so think of all of those things. Are there things that you can do? Maybe you need to start putting a little bit money back for a new set of tires for your vehicle. If you know that your vehicle's going to be needing tires, we just need to really change our mindset. And instead of being on the fly, everything is just here and now, maybe we need to start planning ahead a little bit. It's not that we can all see the future. Things happen and we don't see it. But if we plan correctly and we do things the right way, then, it's not such a panic and it's not such a hit in the gut when things happen. We're not prepared for all of it, no, because we all know that things happen that changes our lives completely. But if we've done all that we can do to prepare for most situations, if you have your pantry prepared, then if something should happen like your car break down and you had to take all your grocery money to pay to get your car fixed, to get you back and forth to work so you still got money coming in to buy groceries, then how much better off you're going to be because you prepared ahead. Now, I know when Howie passed away, Howie and I have lived a long time putting up. We were taught that way, and we felt the leading of the Lord to be that way. And so when all the stuff happened, when we got sick with COVID, and then after we lost Howie, and for months after that, I didn't have to even consider my pantry. I didn't have to even think about, is there anything in there to feed the kids, to feed myself? That was all taken care of, and so my thoughts could stay on what was the most urgent thing at that time. And that's what we want to do. We want everyone to be able to, stay the course, be able to function day to day, but also prepare your household so that these things aren't an all-consuming thing. When you prepare your household and you make those necessary adjustments, then the day-to-day stuff just kind of like water off a duck's back. You just go on. We don't like everything that happens. We don't like the higher prices. We don't like the gas prices, and we don't like the shortages and all that stuff. No, we don't like any of those things. But because we've prepared, it softens the blow just a little bit, and we want that for everybody. We want to be able to live as stress-free as possible. And if you are in debt up to your eyeballs and your pantry's empty and, there's more month than there is money, we know what kind of life that is, and we don't want that. So guys, I hope that I've encouraged you to do everything that you can to look well to the ways of your household. I know that I say that a lot, but it's getting to be really, really an important message to hear. The government can't come and help you. The food pantries aren't going to be able to help everybody. Your church pantries aren't going to be able to. And you're not going to be able to help everybody. But if you do your part and the next person does their part, then we can do a lot better in the long run. Well, guys, this is Josie. I love you. I really do. Until next time, keep looking well to the ways of your household. Make you a binder. Go through it from A to Z. Check off all those things that you know you want. Move out those things that you didn't use. And keep living and working. Until next time, guys. We're gone.